right, good morning and welcome to week 2, day 8 for your Tighten Up Team Challenge. It's Jason here. And I want to thank each and every one of you for checking back in, staying committed for the second week as we shift focus a little bit onto some physical training, working on the body, the physique, the performance. Now, questions are still open if you've got anything regarding your nutrition, performance nutrition, whether it's timing, balance, the content, whatever it is, please feel free to continue asking those questions as they relate to your health and fitness. But as we move into our second week, I want to share with you the most important things I know about improving your training productivity. This is your results, how well what it is you're doing in the gym is producing the results you want to see and feel on the body. And so I want to cover down on some variables, all right, some factors, some leveraging factors that you can leverage in your day-to-day and week-to-week training that will help you ensure to make certain that you are getting the right training effect from each and every training session. Now, it's absolutely critical that your training produces what is known as the training effect. In physiological terms or in sports science terms, the training effect is taking your system, whether it's metabolic, physiological, psychological, and pushing it, stretching it beyond its normal range. Now that must happen in just about every single training session in order for a training effect or for results to obtain. Now there are ways to do this. There are actual variables that we could tune appropriately so that your body experiences the correct training effects at the metabolic, the physiological, as well as the psychological level. So in terms of metabolic results, we've got to be thinking about the way in which your body breaks down fuel and transforms it into energy. This is your metabolism. It's absolutely critical. And if we're not meeting the metabolic training effect, then your system's not getting any better at breaking down molecules and converting them into chemical energy for the body. That's gotta happen, and that is one of the toughest things to do in terms of making true change within the body, is eliciting these metabolic adaptations so that when you're done with your training session, you maintain this high state of metabolic activity all the way until your next training session. And if you're able to continually boost your metabolic adaptations from session to session, the rate at which you burn calories in a resting state just continues to rise. And this is what's known as your basal metabolic rate. And so by continuing to improve upon and hit your training effect through the metabolic systems each and every session, you're going to improve your body's ability to convert food into energy. That is critical. And when we're talking about the physiological adaptations that you want to meet with your training effect every session, this is to improve how your body transports and delivers the energy molecules to their endpoints. That's to the muscle, to the heart, to the lungs. Your physiological processes are really driving the flow of energy in and around your body. And so during your training sessions and your workouts, hey, you've got to ensure that the intensity is at a level where the physiological effect is being met. And this is something you'll definitely feel. You feel a muscle pump, you feel a bit of a sweat. There's a particular check mark physiologically that you experience as that training effect is being met. And the more you meet it, again, the better your body gets at delivering and then utilizing these energy products. So we've heated up your metabolism to convert fuel into energy. And now we're also transporting and delivering that energy through your physiological processes. Now, what's this going to produce? Aside from the neurological benefits, the neural circuitry being activated and new blood flow through the brain, this will have these psychological correlates. This improves the quality of what it's like to be you, what it's like to wake up in the morning, what it's like to go to bed at night, what it's like to carry yourself through the course of your day. Is you improve the quality of your muscle tissue and you improve your body's ability to move. You improve your body's ability to respond to the mindful commands you give it from one rep to the next, one breath to the next, one set to the next, as you're practicing moving your body through your training sessions with high levels of intensity, with a high level of focus. This improves the psychological experience of what it's like to be you. As you know that you've begun doing the hard work, you develop the confidence. As you're consistent day in and day out from getting this done week over week over week, you develop even more confidence and faith in yourself, belief in yourself that you can do this. And at the end of the day, this is what we're trying to improve upon. What it's like to be ourselves, the psychological experience of what it's like to be us. And that's going to amplify then the intensity and the energy that you bring into your training sessions. And now you can start to see how this feedback loop begins to take shape. the more you ramp up your natural ability to create physical energy, the more you use that energy in increased physiological processes. And then you feel the benefits and psychologically experience yourself with more joy, more happiness, more confidence, more going forthness. All this plays right back into the metabolic processes. You go back into your workout and you crush it with more intensity, more focus, and more confidence. And so you can see now how these metabolic processes that kickstart your physiological processes, that begin to illuminate your psychological processes, this is the feedback loop we're aiming to achieve. And with the training program that we put on offer for you, that 10 training session program that we have in the gym, if you have access to a gym, as well as the minimal equipment training program. Each of those, the way they're sequenced, if you watch those training sequences and how each movement is placed precisely in the right part, that's so we're physiologically putting the demand on the muscle, on the heart, on the lungs optimally, so that your body responds in a way so you don't have to spend so much time at the gym, so much time throughout the course of the week trying to exercise. You can get the right amount of intensity with the right amount of movement, stimulating the right parts of the body effectively, and that's where you're going to produce the training effect in 15 and 20, 25 minutes. Because if you watch those training videos and you look at those training sequences, they're no longer than 15, 20 minutes. Some of them are 12 to 15 minutes. But the way in which they elicit the physiological, metabolic, and then produce that psychological outcome, that's what it's about. And so if you can get it done in 15 to 20 minutes, why spend 40 to 45 minutes in the gym? And that's what we put together for you in that Tighten Up Getting Started Introductory Movement Program. So take a look at those videos, and if you don't have the equipment available to do all of the movements in that manner, well then substitute out some of the equipment, substitute out some of the movements, but ensure the intensity levels are met. Now that you know what it is you're aiming to affect during your training sessions and workouts, it's important to know how to put your workouts together throughout your week to get the most out of them. Because again, there are these leveraging variables that we want to use to improve your outcomes session to session, week to week, month to month. All right, and the first one we're going to talk about is your training frequency. This is the amount of training sessions you exercise each week. Now, this isn't the days you train each week, but it's the actual workouts or sessions, because a lot of athletes can train more than 7 times a week. And so you need to choose for yourself, hey, how many times am I able to get to the gym? How many times am I able to make the setup at the home work so that I can get my exercises and routine in? And once you've made a determination, then you can start to build from there. And what's going to determine this factor are a lot of things. A, the time you have available. If you're not able to make 7 training sessions a week, then you don't want to commit to 7 training sessions a week. So find out what it is you're able to do, and then determine what it is you're willing to do. Hey, if you're willing to knock out all 5 of those and you're able, then go ahead and make that commitment. That's important, because yes, it is true. The more often you exercise, the more often you ramp up these metabolic, physiological, and improve those psychological systems, the more improved your system becomes. So of course, naturally, the more often you do it, the better. Now, the second factor we're going to talk about is your intensity. Now, the intensity is absolutely critical, because this is the single factor that could reduce the amount of time you have to spend during your training sessions. This could also reduce the frequency, the amount of times you have to train throughout the course of the week. Because if you have a higher intense training session, there's going to be a little bit more recovery or better recovery required in between that session and your next session. So the intensity matters, and you can measure this with your heart rate. A good intensity to maintain during your training sessions is at minimum 74, 75%, getting upwards towards 91, 92% of your max heart rate. Another way to measure intensity is through your weight loads. If you're familiar with your 1 rep max, your 5 rep max, your 10 rep max on certain lifts, then you can lift a percentage of that max number, and that can be varied at your intensity. If I bench press 100 pounds, I put 85 pounds on the bar, that's 85% of my 1 rep max. And oftentimes you'll have to determine how many reps you could do with that percentage of your 1 rep max. And these are things that you're gonna learn. And these are things you're gonna learn quickly, because when you begin training with some program, with a system based in science, once you start using founded principles in your training program, you're gonna notice the results fast. And then you'll begin to specify and uniquely model your workouts to suit your body, your needs, your goals, but using these principles that are governed by nature, and that way you'll be able to produce the results. So after intensity, we have what's known as duration, and this is the length of your training session or workout in time. In general, you could train from 30 to 60 minutes. That's what a lot of people aim for. But again, as I mentioned, these training sequences we've designed for you, some of them are as short as 15 minutes. You want to take a little bit of prep time, of course, and some cool down time after, but in 15 minutes, you could produce those metabolic and physiological responses that you're aiming to achieve in each and every workout, especially if you're hitting those intensity marks. So the duration now is going to depend upon what it is you're training for to some effect. If it's simply for physique modifications, again, you're not going to need a whole lot of time with a good, well-rounded nutrition plan in cooperation with good recovery. You don't need any more than 20 to 30 minutes a day to work the body the way you want in terms of physique. Now, performance is going to require some different timing durations, especially in terms of my endurance athletes. To really get the aerobic functions online and optimizing their flow, you're going to have to spend at least 45 minutes in a training center working those higher aerobic systems to get them online the way you want to, the way you want to get them to adapt at minimum. So the duration is really going to be dependent upon, again, the availability you have, but also your goals. And if you could tune your intensity up, then that's going to allow you to not spend so much time on target trying to produce the training effect. If you could do it in a shorter amount of time, great. Use that intensity, leverage it, spike your intensity high to reduce the time on target in terms of your duration. Now, the fourth variable, which is often used, is diversity. You also hear this termed as technique, or the type of workout you're going to do. Now, this can range from training straight for strength, for speed, endurance. Other people will call yoga a type of exercise, or CrossFit a type of exercise. The type or the diversity of your movement is really going to come down to the language game you're playing. It comes down to the coach that you have, the language game they use in terms of range of motion, flexibility, are they specifying for that? Or are they going to blanket that with a regular term like stretching? But we usually focus on strength, stability, endurance, speed, range of motion as some types or diverse movement applications will specify upon. And then from there are sub-variables or sub-factors that we could also specify through as well. And so those are the big four variables: your frequency and the amount of sessions you'll have each week, the intensity and how aggressive you'll go during those sessions, the duration or time and length of those training sessions, and then you've also got the diversity or the different types or styles of workouts that you could be doing. And so these are the baseline functions that you can leverage in order to, again, produce the effect. You've got to produce the training effect. I can't tell you this how important it is. And again, these mechanisms are what you leverage to produce the training effect. You've got to get that effect reach in order to move the needle forward in your health and fitness. Otherwise, you may find yourself going in circles, recycling the same results again and again and again. But once you start to learn, once you learn about the training effect, and you understand the variables involved that you can leverage to produce that effect, you will feel what it feels like during your sessions, and you'll see the results on the body, and you'll feel that level of confidence drive through your mind as you see the hard work you're doing manifest itself in the creation of your body. So these are some great tools. I want to thank you guys. You've hung in with me this long. A learning process, that's what this is. But most importantly, it's about you. You're learning about you. How your body responds to stress, how it responds to nutrition, how it responds to water, how it responds to sleep. These are all things that you're going to be learning about throughout all of time. And so that you're taking the time now, because otherwise you're going to be taking a lot more time on the back end. That you're taking the time now is what's absolutely important. So stay the course. Keep pushing forward. I'm proud of each and every one of you for dedicating the time and the energy towards building out your workouts, towards building out your weekly workouts and things of that sort. So stay the course. All right, if you guys got questions about any of this training stuff, please leave your comments below. We are here to serve. Again, my name is Jason. I'll see you all next time.